What do you think? Why do we track time at work? It's to ensure workers get paid fairly for every minute they work, right? But that's not the only reason. Tracking time at work also helps companies comply with labor laws. Now, would you believe that it took thousands of years for laws to start regulating employee hours and time tracking? You could say that it all started with the sun and the stars. After all, people needed to tell time long before they began measuring work hours. So, stay tuned as we uncover the evolution of time tracking and how it all connects to the labor laws we have today. Okay, let's start by traveling all the way back to 1500 BC. This is as far as back as we can place the first sundials. At this point in human history, people relied on the sun and the shadow movement on the sundial to mark the hours and time tracking during the day. At night, our ancestors looked up to the sky to observe star patterns. These helped them divide the night into segments. Pretty neat for 3,500 years ago, right? Now, let's jump to the period between the 6th and the 13th centuries. This may seem hard to imagine, but this was a time when people tracked time using fire and water. To be more precise, in the 6th century China, folks used fire and smoke to tell time with the so-called incense clocks. The length of time necessary for burning an incense stick was a measuring tool for daily activities. In the 11th century, they switched from fire to water. This is when Chinese inventor Su Sang perfected the water clock. As water slowly dripped from the top container to the bottom one, people would observe the marks on the lower container to tell the hours of the day. It's no surprise that the very first mechanical clocks were considered revolutionary when they appeared in the 13th century. These mechanical clocks showed the time by the hour. Actually, they are the most similar to the clocks that we know and use today. The early mechanical clocks were installed in church towers. That way, the local communities could go about their day and simply look up to know the time of the day with precision. But the innovation doesn't stop there. We just have to mention the brilliant craftsmanship of astronomical mechanical clocks. Mathematician and astronomer Richard of Wallingford made the first of its kind in the 14th century. And just like regular mechanical clocks, an astronomical clock would also display the time of day by the hour with an added twist. This clock also showed the current positions of the sun, moon, visible stars, and the lunar phases. Not only would the townspeople be able to tell time with precision, but they were also informed about the current celestial events. Now, isn't that amazing? But it wasn't before the 19th century that tracking time became important for business practices. This brings us to the next chapter of our story, the Industrial Revolution. In 1888, Willard L. Bundy, a New York jeweler, invented the punch clock. This clock allowed workers to punch in and out and record their hours on a paper card. This was the beginning of recorded work hours. Many people started moving to cities to work in factories at the time. So factories needed a foolproof way to get employees to work the hours they were paid for. At the same time, workers wanted assurance that they would be paid fairly for their time. And the punch clock turned out to be the perfect solution. You could say that at this point, the stage was set for future labor rights and management practices. Over the years, labor laws have dramatically transformed the landscape of work. And one of the most important US labor laws, the Fair Labor Standards Act, or the FLSA, came to be in 1938. It was a true game changer for American workers and employers. The FLSA now regulated different work aspects such as minimum wage, overtime pay, and child labor. Most importantly, the FLSA made accurate time tracking a legal requirement to ensure that workers were paid fair and square. Employers simply had to keep precise records of hours worked. That said, we are now in the 21st century and using the best kind of time tracking methods, modern-day digital tech. In the early 2000s, digital tools replaced punch cards and paper timesheets. The new web-based timesheets and complex automated systems allowed businesses to quickly record time at work. The They could also analyze time spent on projects and use this data for better productivity and time management. Et voila! Employees can now easily stay compliant while saving time on administrative tasks. For employers looking to navigate business waters smoothly, modern time tracking tools offer a lifeline. This brings us to Clockify, a modern and powerful solution that takes care of time tracking and helps you achieve full compliance with laws and regulations. Clockify does more than counting hours though, and makes time tracking a breeze because it's so easy to use. And who wouldn't want to stay in line with the laws and regulations completely stress-free? It seems we have concluded our journey of thousands of years from telling time with sundials to modern time tracking solutions like Clockify. Things have drastically changed, much for the better. Thank you for joining me in this incredible exploration of how timekeeping evolved over time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next video.